Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So today we're going to look at a clip here. It's called "Millions of Men in Their Prime Age Are Leaving the Labor Force and Creating a Large Hole in the Economy." But before we jump into this clip, guys, please remember to like, subscribe, drop a comment. It really helps to keep this channel going. And yeah, guys, let's just jump into this now.
But we're going to begin this hour with a not-so-bravo topic. We're talking about jobs and a major hiring crisis. It's a problem, really, bigger and older than the Great Resignation you've heard so much about. It's a problem you're not going to find in the unemployment rate, which is, of course, at near record lows. And it's because a large number of American men in particular, men in their prime working years, are actually not working, and they're not even looking for work. The result is a bit of a mystery and also a major hole in the American economy.
My name's Mike Rowe, and this is my job.
Of all the jobs he's done over the past 20 years.
Now get ready to get dirty.
And Mike Rowe has done them all as the host of Dirty Job.
Dude, props to Mike Rowe for doing this show for this long. I mean, dude's the man. He's done some really, really crazy jobs. I remember there was one where he was on a pig farm, and it was in Vegas, and he had to take this big truck and get the old food, and then they boil it, and you had to drive this big truck to the pigs and stuff, and he had the nasty food sloshing everywhere all over him. It was crazy.
On Discovery.
From machines that dump.
Oh, now it's dirty jobs, isn't it?
The hoses that suck. Cheap.
He's never claimed to be an economist.
Thank you.
But while taping the series during the Great Recession of 2008, he did notice something important.
All anybody was talking about was the number of people who were out of work. But on dirty jobs, even then, everywhere we went, we saw help wanted signs.
It turns out dozens of real-life economists and other researchers have a possible explanation: a long-term decline in male labor force participation, or as one think tank summarized it, men not at work.
This is a men problem by and large, right?
Seems to be.
Look back.
It's a men's problem, but it's going to be a big society problem soon. Because for 40, 50 years now, they've been saying everything masculine, ambition, competition, grinding, you know what I'm saying, getting work done, is now it's toxic, it's bad, and then men succeed at the expense of insert marginalized group. What happens is that you get a whole, younger Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and Gen A, heard this stuff, and they're just saying, screw it, I don't want to work anymore. And this is what's happening.
Back to the 1950s, and 98% of men in their so-called prime working years had a job or were looking for one. That number has fallen ever since, to the point where today more than 7 million men have essentially dropped out of the workforce.
We've given a lot of people a lot of options. And incredibly, one of those options is do nothing. Do nothing.
Yep, and that happened, you guys, during the old shutdown, where people were getting paid not to work. And now what happens is that people are not working. And the craziest part is men are not working. Young men. Absolute clown world.
Rowe and I met at Empire Metal, a fabrication and finishing shop in Queens, New York, and where, much like manufacturing shops nationwide, finding skilled workers like these is a growing challenge.
We have more jobs than we have people for, about 1.5 jobs for every one worker.
Jay Timmons, who leads the National Association of Manufacturers, describes all this as a profound problem for the companies he represents.
99.9% of them will say that their number one challenge right now is being able to fill those open jobs.
So there's open jobs in manufacturing, guys, that are not being filled.
So you are here as a representative of more than 14,000 manufacturers in these United States. And the number one problem for 99 out of 100 of them is filling jobs.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be able to say that. But now it's kind of an all hands on deck. We've got to fill these jobs that are open.
And there are nearly 800,000 of those jobs open right now, according to the latest federal count, a number that surged in recent years as companies reinvest.
800,000 jobs almost, guys. And we hear these arguments from these feminist womanists. Oh, well, the reason why 95% of manufacturing jobs and dirty jobs and, construction jobs, all these jobs that are high paying, but, are dangerous jobs. The reason why we aren't in these jobs is because men are keeping us out. Well, guess what, guys? That whole argument's been debunked because now men aren't doing them. But do you see any of those purple-haired types trying to run in and do these jobs? Of course not. Of course not.
Invest in American-made products, or try to anyway. And with manufacturing workers earning more than $30 an hour on average, Timmons says the problem is not pay, but perception.
It used to be dirty, dark, and dangerous. Today, it's very sleek. It's very technology-driven.
And that's what we saw when we visited Electrosoft, a company outside Philadelphia that makes circuit boards for everything from missiles to submarines.
So over there is the quality area where we do first piece article testing, final testing.
But CEO Carla Trotman says they could be doing more if only she had the workers to do it.
How many people work here right now?
30.
How many people do you wish worked here right now?
45.
So you got 15 people that you have jobs for,
Yes.
but you can't find them.
Cannot.
How much money in lost business is there in not being able to hire the people that you want?
Around 5 million.
Imagine they can get contracts for more money, but they don't have the labor to take on bigger contracts. So they have to turn business down. Absolute clown world. And this is what happens, guys. This is what happens when you tell young men, we don't need you, men are garbage, blah, blah, blah. So then men say, you know what, I'll just stay home, play Xbox. And then you pay people not to go to work. And guess what? They're going to not go to work.
In top line revenue.
5 million.
Yeah.
That would be here, and that presumably you'd be paying taxes on.
Obviously,
And that would
yeah.
go into people's pockets and would be going out into the broader economy.
Yeah.
What is your theory about where those 15 people are right now?
I honestly have no idea where they are.
She
home
suspects
playing
some
Xbox.
people may be sitting out because of a recent change in the way many of us look at work.
I think it's fulfillment. I think it's culture. I think people really want to feel as though they are appreciated. I mean, Beyonce's song, she said, release your job. A lot of people release their jobs. They don't, and they realize,
And that shows a real problem right there, guys. Because a lot of guys know. Older guys, we knew, raised our fathers and uncles and stuff, said you are going to have to work until you die. And you probably won't like your job. And a lot of guys really do work jobs that we don't particularly like, but it pays the bills. There's some cool coworkers, but we don't like our jobs. And then there's always the stereotype of that guy who had the dream. You see all these sitcoms about it and stuff where the guy had a dream. He wanted to be a baseball player, an actor, a newscaster, blah, blah, blah. But then he got his girl pregnant, had to marry her. And next thing you know, the last 25 years, he's been working a job that's just sucking his soul, right? Because that's the burden of performance that us men have. But now we have this new generation of men that are a result of this mainstream programming where if any guy does listen to a Beyonce, that's not the type of guy that can make society work.
an overall feeling of being fed up and being taken for granted.
But there's more, according to one economist. Some non-working men face a skills mismatch. A third have criminal records, making them ineligible for many jobs and making employers hesitant to hire them. And many rely on safety nets, such as disability. So you may wonder, what are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average relaxing, playing games, and watching TV.
So how is it, from where you're sitting, from your understanding, that people can do nothing all day and still have enough money for a bag of chips?
Oh, well, it's almost as though some entity is paying them.
Facts. Get him, Mike Rowe. Get him.
It's almost as if somebody is not letting them fail. It's as if some giant parent somewhere has...
An uncle, maybe?
Could be a rich uncle, yes. Could be a very wealthy uncle.
Or it might come down to values.
Well, guys, we can end this here. I'll leave the whole I'll leave the link to the video in the description. But guys, let me know what you think. I mean, this is sad, you know, that there's a large group of men that aren't going to work, and you know, the shaming where it's like, well, they're just sit back. You know what? But what do you think is gonna happen when 2 generations plus of men have been told that you're useless, you're trash, you know what I'm saying? You're toxic, blah blah blah. This is the response. Men just take their ball, go home, and then you're gonna pay them to stay home. This is what happens. All right, you guys, this is AJ. I appreciate it. I'm out of here.